5 rejections. This is just talking 1000 words to me, like rejection, 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 rejection. Like we are not able to come above this level from the ODR anymore, and we are not able to close. Today the backtesting is very simple stuff, very simple entries, just using DR, IDR. I'm not having a higher time frame bias. I'm not looking at price. Today we are just focusing on an early backtesting in terms of we are just looking at DR, IDR, we are just looking at the moment, we are not looking at the past. We are starting 5th of December, the ADR. I'm just trying to make the backtest based on what I see, and I explain why I would enter a trade. So we're gonna do it just the old school way with a long and short position. I think we are ready to start. What do you think, guys? Let's go. 1 more, 2. So we are getting a confirmation right here with the next candle. Based on this one, we are looking now for an entry into the long direction, right? So now we're gonna use our DRs. So we have to do everything manually as you would do. So we reach 0.5. Still, there is no entry for me, which I can see. So now we return to the DR levels. No rejection, we directly go into. Here we will see we have a little rejection here, but nothing I want to trade. Next candle is not able to close above the IDR level. We are staying below, so now again rejection from the IDR level, which is normally more like a short sign. So still nothing to trade. We are coming down, we are stopping right here, but as you can see, no rejection here. Now we can think. The midpoint of the DR, we have our opening line, so this is a nice cluster to look for a long entry. So now we see another rejection. So based on that one, I would take a long trade here. Let's stop below 2 ticks below the opening and this cluster of lines. Either there is a rejection here or we will go lower. So that's how I see it. My target would be at least a new high, and I would take partials around 0.5 of the standard deviation. So now we have to do something quickly. The RDR, so we want to have these levels always, and they count for the whole day until the next one is finished. So we are in a long trade right now. Let's see how it's playing out. So we are getting again another clean rejection from the levels here. We are going up to IDR now. So that would be the point. Normally that should be 1R. So I would at least think about decreasing my risk. So I used 1R, and I would put my stop now at least here to reduce risk. Because like based on my rules, how I am trading, I'm not allowed to lose 1R when the trade is already 1R plus. So that's why I'm decreasing my stop loss now. And as you can see, we reduced now to 0.5 risk approximately. And we are getting stopped out. So that could be like market could go up. I would be just stopped out because it was reaching my stop levels. Now we are coming down. So increasing or decreasing my risk made sense in this scenario. Now we're entering 12 o'clock. So I would be careful with entering any more trades now. Market continues lower and lower. That would be a nice retirement setup, but it's too late. It's 1 o'clock already, so I wouldn't take a retirement setup here. As you can see, retirement setup would have worked out, but I didn't take it. I'm trying to explain my logic. For me, it's too late to jump into a retirement setup at this point, but that's just me. So there would be no harm, no foul if you would like to take this setup. It's still fine. Normally 1 hour, there's enough time for the market to really reach the levels. And as you can see, like trade would have definitely worked out. And like for those who don't know, the retracement, the retirement setup is simply once you get a confirmation long what we have, as soon price returns in the area of the opposite IDR levels, that's the retirement setup. So what you normally would do, you would enter a trade somewhere around here and you would have your stop loss 2 ticks below the DR low in this case. And your target would be either, again, the other side of the DR IDR levels, or even new high in this case. If you take these trades, whatever you enter here, you would put your stop here, and either this would be your target or this would be your target. So either one of them. And I think like it's definitely one of the best setups, I would say, which you can have when it comes to DR, IDR. If you're not looking at anything else, that's definitely a setup to look for. Let's go and continue now. So we are farming the ODR now. Now we have a confirmation for short. So we would be looking for a short entry now. Still nothing valid for me. 50% line is here. So now we are getting a rejection. We are seeing a rejection from the DR levels. Still nothing here. We are making a new high. We are still above the IDR levels. Now we are closing directly over the midpoint of the DR. So nothing interesting time-wise, 610. So now we're getting another setup, retirement setup, and this time I will take this. My stop would be 1-2 ticks above, and my target would be a new low. So I would be stopped out with the next candle. That would be full minus R. And I would re-enter because we are not closing above the DR levels. At the end of the day, I got stopped out and I would immediately re-enter this trade. And I would have the same stop again, 2 ticks above the DR levels. And target would be again the same. So let's see. Well, it seems to work out. We're coming closer 7:20. We have time till 8:30, so more than 1 hour, 10 minutes. So it's 8:30. You either sell the trade here at 8:30. So 8:30 would be 4.9, but I'm still sticking to my target. And stop is on BE, so I can't lose anything with this trade. Okay, so we would get filled with this trade. That's our first winning trade now. So let's say 7, that brings us to plus 5.5 R. So let's continue. So now we're going into the regular session. We can remove now our standard deviations and we're gonna see what's happening here. So we see the DR forming here, the regular DR. Gonna put our standard deviations, and from now on we don't have confirmation, so we're gonna see what's gonna happen. So now it's getting more interesting. We are rejecting from DR IDR levels here and the opening price of the RDR session. And look at the model. So we have a slight expansion to the upside, and now price is not able to come back into this area, into the ODR area. So and we have a big expanding DR session. Considering a short would be an option, but I guess I want to see the next candle. Okay, now it's getting clearer for me. I will enter short here because there is rejection here. We step into this one, we are rejecting from here. We are rejecting the IDR line. We are not able to close, so that would be a short sign for me. And I would enter with the close directly here. My stop would be above the DR levels, which is also the IDR level from the ODR. You can always get wigged out here, but that's the risk I am taking. That's fine. If we see another wick, I would not hesitate to re-enter if we close again below it. The RDR is breaking to the downside. We have an expanding model here. We are rejecting from the DR, from the ODR. So my stop would be above these 3 levels, because if price action is closing above this, I know that the algo will go more up. So target, of course, let's take the IDR and potentially a new low. But I would take earlier some profits here, either 0.5 or IDR levels. That's up to you. Let's see. So partials here, and partials below at the 0.5 if you want. That's up to you. So you see, we are wicking into it. So far, stop holds, but we are in minus with this trade. Rejection, so price is not able to close above. immediate retake, so we close above the IDR levels and immediately close below. So we are taking back the level instantly. 3 beautiful rejections from here. 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections so far. 5 rejections. This is just talking 1,000 words to me, like rejection, 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 rejection. Like we are not able to come above this level from the ODR anymore, and we are not able to close above the IDR. It's almost 1 hour where price is telling you, hey, I can't close above these levels. So that should give you a really, really good example of how to look at rejections, because like this is very clear to me. So price is rejecting, we're reaching the 50% level. So let's take a partial here from our trade. That would be, let's say, 0.7 R, a little bit more. Let's say 0.7 plus. Market goes lower. Here again, we are seeing like respecting the 50% level. We are going lower. I wouldn't be tagged in here, so technically we are still full in the position, so we didn't reach the IDR, which would be my second partial. So of course stop would go on break even in this case. I don't like to put stops below break even. That would be a time thing where I would put it over here, but there would be no problem if you say, okay, I already took a partial, I put my stop loss here. Still, we are working a DR session where we have no confirmation. So if you do that and you move your stop here and secure at least for the 2/3 of your position what you have, you save another R. That's absolutely fine. Me personally, I don't do it because that's just how I'm trading. But that doesn't mean that everyone should act like that. It's just me. It's paying me for years, so I'm fine with that. So now this one I would consider as being ugly. So this is the point where I would say, okay, now I would move my stop over to this level. This could be just a range play, so we reached the lower range. I was unlucky not getting tagged in here or filled in here. Now we're going up, so actually now, me personally, I would move my stop over here, because like in my opinion, if we see a structure break over here, I consider price moving up here or trying again this level. So when we go over here, I would say I have a low probability trade with a higher risk. Time, we are 1 hour, power hour coming in. We are staying, like I am personally staying in my trade. And that's it, we are closed. So let's say 0.6 with the partial, and we're closing our trade at 4 o'clock. Let's say overall 2R for this trade was a winning trade, and we have 7.5 now. This is a day, as you can see, we had no confirmation this day. So when we don't have confirmation what the market is doing 90% of the time, it's just playing inside the DR levels and mainly in the IDR levels. But you don't know this because at the end of the day, when you're looking at 11 o'clock, you don't know what price is doing in the rest of the session. So you can never be sure that price is going into the range and you will see no confirmation. We could have gone below here, we could have generated a short confirmation, but you don't know this when you're looking like in real time at the prices.